The city of Babylon did not sleep that night. Under a veiled, starless sky, its towering walls glowed faintly, illuminated by flickering torches that crowned the great ramparts. This was a city forged by ambition and pride, a fortress carved from dreams and hardened by conquest. The mighty Euphrates River wound silently through its heart, held back by gates as strong as the resolve of its rulers. Golden idols, mute and unyielding, stood sentinel over marble courts where silk-draped nobles reveled. Inside the palace, the air was thick with the scent of incense and the sound of laughter, rich and reckless. It was a feast unlike any other, a celebration steeped in defiance and excess. King Belshazzar, the son and heir to the throne of the legendary Nebuchadnezzar, sat upon a throne adorned with gold so pure it dazzled the eyes. Around him swirled a circle of lords, concubines, dancers, and flatterers, all caught in the intoxication of the moment. Outside those walls, in the looming shadows beyond, the armies of Persia lay in patient silence. Cyrus the Great waited, his forces poised like a coiled serpent. Yet within the palace there was no fear. Why should there be? Babylon's walls were said to be impenetrable, its storehouses overflowing, its gods many and mighty. The night was young, and so was their arrogance. Belshazzar raised a golden goblet high, a vessel stolen from a sacred place far away, the temple of Yahweh in Jerusalem, plundered and desecrated by his ancestors. In that act, he mocked not just a religion, but a power greater than any earthly king. "Drink," he commanded, his voice thick with scorn, "and let us praise the gods who have granted us dominion, the gods of gold and silver, bronze and iron, wood and stone." Laughter erupted, goblets clinked, and the priests of Babylon nodded silently in approval. Yet in the dimmest corner of the hall, shadows deepened, gathering like a storm. Then, without warning, the room fell into a sudden hush. Laughter died abruptly, strangled in mid-breath. Every eye turned toward a pale wall near the golden lampstand. There impossibly a hand appeared, not attached to any body, not belonging to any man. Just a hand, fingers outstretched, moving slowly and deliberately. It began to write. In complete silence, it carved glowing letters into the plaster, each symbol burning with an ethereal light. The golden goblet slipped from Belshazzar's trembling hand and shattered on the floor. His face drained of color, his knees buckled beneath him. Yet the hand continued to write, indifferent to the king's terror. The music stopped. The revelry was replaced by an oppressive silence filled with dread. The king's breaths came shallow and quick, his voice barely a whisper. "What does it mean? Who dares write such words on my wall?" No one answered. Desperation rose like a tide. Belshazzar summoned the enchanters, the sorcerers, and astrologers of Chaldea. He promised robes of purple, chains of gold, a place as third ruler in his kingdom. "Read it, interpret it." He cried, but the magicians only stared, powerless and afraid. The glowing script eluded their understanding, slipping through their minds like smoke. Fear spread, fear not just of the writing, but of what it signified. Deep within every soul present, a chilling realization took root. This was no trick. This was judgment. Then, through the stunned crowd, the Queen Mother appeared, a figure of wisdom and memory. She moved with the quiet authority of someone who held secrets long forgotten by others. "There is a man," she said, "a man in your kingdom who carries the spirit of the holy gods. In the days of your father Nebuchadnezzar, he was known to possess insight and wisdom beyond all others. His name is Daniel." At once, Belshazzar sent for Daniel. The man arrived, aged and dignified. His beard white, his face lined with years, yet his eyes burned with fierce clarity. He surveyed the wall and the glowing letters. Unlike the others, he did not falter. The king, pale and trembling, addressed him. "Are you Daniel, one of the exiles from Judah brought here by my father? I have heard that you carry the spirit of the gods, that you can interpret mysteries. If you can read this writing and explain it, I will clothe you in purple, place a gold chain around your neck, and make you the third ruler of Babylon." Daniel met the king's gaze, fire in his eyes. "Keep your gifts," he replied. "Spare your rewards for another, but I will read the writing and tell you what it means." Turning to the wall, then back to the king, Daniel spoke in measured tones. "Listen carefully, O king. The Most High God gave your father Nebuchadnezzar sovereignty, greatness, glory, and splendor. Because of this greatness, all nations and peoples feared him. But when his heart grew arrogant and his pride hardened, he was deposed from his throne. He was driven away from men and given the mind of a beast. He lived with wild donkeys, ate grass like an ox, and was drenched with the dew of heaven, until he acknowledged that the Most High rules over all kingdoms on earth and appoints whomever he pleases. Yet you, Belshazzar, his son, have not humbled yourself, even though you knew all this. Instead, you have exalted yourself against the Lord of heaven. You brought the sacred vessels from his temple and drank wine from them with your nobles, your wives, and your concubines. You praised idols of silver and gold, bronze and iron, wood and stone, gods that neither see, hear, nor understand. But you did not honor the God who holds your life and all your ways in his hand. Therefore he sent the hand that wrote the inscription. Daniel's voice grew solemn as he recited the words glowing on the wall. MENE TEKEL PARSIN. This is what they mean, he said. MENE. God has numbered your kingdom's days and brought it to an end. TEKEL. You have been weighed on the scales and found wanting. PERES. Your kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. A heavy silence fell, as if the very walls themselves held their breath. Daniel spoke no more, turning away with the weight of his words lingering in the air. The glowing script remained, an undeniable testament of doom. Belshazzar stared at the message, unable to deny the truth. He had been weighed and found deficient. That very night, while Babylon lay drunk with pride and denial, the Euphrates River was silently diverted. The Persian army entered through the dry riverbed, unchallenged and unseen. There was no battle, no trumpets heralding the fall. They were simply inside the impregnable city. Before dawn, Belshazzar was dead, his purple robe stained with blood, his god silent, his walls breached, his empire shattered. He who had mocked the sacred now faced divine reckoning. The strange, burning words on the wall outlasted him, etched into history as a warning. Empires would rise and fall, but the story endured. It became a caution not just for kings and rulers, but for every heart intoxicated by power and forgetting the hand that holds each breath. God does not always shout. Sometimes, he writes, a hand appears, a wall receives the truth, and men must choose to humble themselves or be humbled. The handwriting is not always in a language we understand. Sometimes it is written in events, in collapse, in a conscience that will not rest, in doors that close, in warnings repeated until the final night falls and the last light fades. This is the story of Belshazzar, a man who forgot the past, who mocked the sacred, who drank from holy cups while judgment stood unseen beside him. It is not only his story. It is ours whenever we exalt ourselves above justice, whenever we worship idols made by human hands, whenever we laugh at the divine and believe the night will never end. But the writing is always waiting, and the wall always remembers.